Welcome back to class, dear students. In this lesson, we are going to discuss about JavaScript variable, data types, and operator as we continue to learn on AI-enhanced Web3 front-end development course. So taking you from the beginner to pro in building Web3 front-end. Now, there are basic things. We've learned a lot about JavaScript in the previous intro to JavaScript. Now, we want to start dealing with some things. And like I've told you, these things are not just called AI enhanced, just for us to go in line with AI that is trending. But, you know, we use AI too in all of these things and always encourage you to embrace AI as a developer. So you just learn basic of any language and then AI can instantly get you started developing solid, useful dApp from that language. Now, when you talk about JavaScript variable are containers for storing data values. So in JavaScript, we use the var, let, and const. So I will still give you an example. But before we do that, you need to know the difference. Why do we use var? Why do we use let? And why do we use const? Which means like constant, short of constant. So this var was the previous. If you remember in the previous one, I told you we have like ICMA that oversees or, you know, determines like, okay, this 2020 something version, this 2050 something version. So to adjust on JavaScript from year to year and things like that. So previously, by default, when you are declaring variable, you use var. But now we use either let or const. So var is like the old way and has its own kind of some limitation and things like that. So you can see declaring variable. We use var let. These are like label on our boxes, telling us what kind of data we are dealing with. So they give you, and I will show you an example. The var, the old school, stand for variable. It's original way to declare a variable in JavaScript. Function scope. This means if you declare a variable with var inside the function, it can only be accessed within that function, not outside of it. So let's say an example. You can see function set var token is dput token, console log token. This works fine, but this same console log, if you do it here, it's not accessible because it can't go. Don't be confused as beginner. We'll still learn about function, but here you will see inside this opening curly braces, it closes here. Since this is out of it, it doesn't work. But since this is within it, it's able to work. So those are part of the limitation that led to the modern alternative of let and const. So which, like I said, we'll still see, but you're at least seeing some of the code sample. So the modern alternative let is a newer way to declare variables introduced to solve some of the limitation of var. So block scope, unlike var, let is limited to block like loop or if statement where it is declared. If you declare a variable with let inside the block, it can be accessed outside of that block. So example is like if statement. If all those things you will learn about them is just to give you basic samples, so don't get confused. Like you declare it here, you can't be able to access it here. Now then we have the const. Const is similar to let, but instead used for value that you know won't change. Once you assign a value to a const variable, you can't change it later. So just like let, the only difference between this and why you should forget about the var now, we don't usually use the var again like that. So we use let and const. So how do you know when you should use let and when you should use const? We'll still do check our code, but you should just know the difference between them is let is just like var. You can change the value of your variable later. But const does not allow you to do that. It's like permanent. Once you set it, and there you will wonder why. Yeah, because there are some situations. Look at something like this now. You want to create a cryptocurrency which will have a maximum supply. That means a kind of supply that can never change. You understand? So users know that, okay, this thing will never change. The total, like Bitcoin now has 21 million Bitcoin that can ever exist. So it can be tomorrow now and then it become 100 million, it become 1 billion. You understand? So that makes it unstable. And that's why you could see it keep growing in market value, because with time, even this old 21 million will be minted, and then there won't be chance to mint new one, and only that one will be in circulation. You understand what I'm saying now? So that is where an example of where const is useful, because you see now const, we try to set it to, like, let's say 100,000 token, and then here we say the max supply again, we want to double it to, I said error, you can't change it. Yeah, I can't change it because it is not permitted, because once I use constant, it's good because it assures you that no matter whoever wants to try to manipulate your code, they are not able to change the value. So you can use that value as a base to do calculation or to do any other function or any other thing, because you are super sure that it is constant, it is not changing. Users of your dApp can never like adjust it in any way, because you have declared it. Once you declare it, even you that declare it cannot change it. If you want to change this max supply, you have to change it to const, to let. So let's quickly see. In the previous lesson, so I said I was to show you some of the usefulness of the console, which we have seen. So let's quickly do and learn. And I will also do an example, like when you hear this, like a bottled water, and number one, the bottles serve as a container. That's why I can hold it on my keyboard anytime, have it locked. I can bend it like this. Already that keyboard would have spoiled because it's not waterproofed, if not for the container that is holding it back. And it also makes the water easy to pass around. I can move it, leave it here, I can take it here, I can drink it anytime, and things like that. So look at it like that. When you look at variable, they are like this container, and the water is the value of that variable. So this bottle is the variable, then it can contain different types of variable, which we'll still learn about. So just keep that in mind and make it easy for you. And you know, I can empty this water and decide to put like another drink that will not be water or any other liquid. So the same thing with variables, and there are different things. And as it is, there are some things I can't store in it. There are some, let's say, chemicals that if I put in this container, it will just explode, it will break, because the container cannot withstand the reaction going on within the chemical and the container. It will just burst. You understand? So that's the same thing you will learn with different variable types and those things. So let's move on. Yeah, or maybe I should use the opportunity to take water. Yeah, let's check on back here. So you see what we have learned or discussed here is like, if I say 3 now, then later I say 5, later I said 7. If I want to refer to these things later down the line, later on, it becomes a bit difficult for me. You understand? And maybe user, think of like a calculator, for example. Different users are using that, and they may need to put in their value. So if you are to refer to them by the value they put in, that becomes issue. So what about, you know that, okay, user will put in, let value 1 equals to 3. Let value 2, which we call val 2, I just call it short, val 2 equals to 5. Let var okay, let's total equals to var. You can see it's coming up. Oh, var is not defined. That was a mistake. I wanted to type var plus, sorry, var1 plus var2. So you can see, so I can decide to check the total now. Let's see total, because this is already a container. So I don't need to be bothered about what is going on with each value. I can just say total to tell me is 8. You understand? Now let's do something. If I try to change var1 equal to 10, then total again, you can see, keep doing those math for me. I'm coming. Let's see how, let me move this a bit more. Yeah. So we have this var1 equals to 10, and then total now, I'm coming. Let's try to see what value var1 is holding now. Sorry, var1 is holding 10. So total the total now should be able to add this var1 and var2, and you know we have changed var1, so there is an error there. We need to check it out. But what I want to tell you in essence is we have this var. It allows you, because of that variable and a lot of things, you can do a lot of things on it, which you learn in some few minutes time in this lesson. Then another thing I want to test out is if I set const var3 equals to 15. So var3 equals to what? 15. Now let me try to do var3 equals to 90. You see, an error was caught, and the reason for that is it cannot work out because this is a const. I can't change it. Yeah, it's a const, so I can't change it. You can see it. Assignment to constant variable at. So it's telling me there is an error, and I told you this console is also a very helpful thing when you are developing with JavaScript, to show you if there is error in your code. So you can see it will tell you on caught error type. So I can't change it. Once I've set it, compared to this var3 1 that I set initially as 3, then this var2 5, then later I came down here, I changed var1 to 10, and then var1 becomes 10. Yeah, then if you look at it now, look at var3 15, then for me to change it now, I can't change it. So whereas I can just change the var1 again equals to 90, and if you do var1, you will see it to be 90. So all these are giving you example and differences between them, so you know when to use them. Don't ever use constant when you expect the variable value, the variable is holding, to be changed by user or by you or by any other system or anything later down the line. So only use const once a while for specific constant values that is not expected to ever be changed, so you don't break your code or that later on. So the same here, let's move on the old school way. Then understanding scope in JavaScript. Now, in JavaScript, there is something we call scope. Like you have learned from here, once we declare here, outside of this, we couldn't see it working. And now let's take one of these up and use it. Go back here. Remember from our previous lesson, this one of our, and we are using this external file, so I can always put any JavaScript there. So here now, it says this, and since I use console log, I can always check it over here. I want to switch it to the other side. Yeah, good. So stop disturbing and moving it all around. I think it's much better now. So you can see it now that let's copy this. We've put it here. And now you see there's nothing here. Let me save and have this reload. I want to be sure we are running it. So let's stop the live server and go live again. Yeah, so we have everything connected. So we have it here now. We can't see it because we didn't ask it to display. It's just a console log to troubleshoot what's there. So our inspect, good. We have it here, and we go to console, and you can see it. Live reload enabled, other things that are going on. But you see, got token is not defined. Do you see it? This was the error. Console log token. So we are saying you should console log the token for us, for you to know. Whereas this one tells you, you see, var function set token, console log token. This didn't give us any error. It will work fine as expected. But for this, it won't work because it's outside. So that's what we call scope. When you are dealing with JavaScript, you need to understand there is a scope. And what do you mean by that scope? That means there is always an area that is of influence of your code, especially your variables when you are declaring them. So we have different level of scope. Let's quickly go through them. We have global scope. When you declare variable outside of any function or block, it is in the global scope. Global variables can be accessed from any part of your code, whether it is inside or outside function. However, relying too much on global variable can lead to conflict and bugs, especially in large applications. So if you look at an example, let's go back to what we've got here. And then you will see this token. I'm coming. Let me try and duplicate this. Because for beginner, I really want to try my best in every of our dProgramming university courses for you to understand better. Now, let's say token. Let's call this token 1, then token 1, then let's call this token 2. If I refresh it again, you see, so token 1, not what? Not divine. Now, this isn't responding. Let's go to the top here. It can be top here, it can be here, but you know, JavaScript read from top down. So let's do, what do we need to do here? Can you suggest that we do let's token 1, token 2, you see, equals to DPU token 2. And let's say this one token 1. Cool. You can see it now that this uncaught error token 1 is not divine. But this isn't giving us any error. You understand? So let's see. I'm coming. Remember, our AI is always there. Good. Console log token 2. Working fine. Do you see it? You can see it now. So we have our console log token 2 working what? Working fine. Let's clear this. You see what I'm saying now? So we can access this anywhere in the code. I'll bring it here. You see, we still on cut error. There's some issues here. Yeah, the token 1 isn't working. Let's return it there. So that's just the point I want to drive at. Like, this now is different from this. Why? Because this is declared inside the function. You see the opening curly braces that I was saying, and then it closes. So anything within is within this function, which we still learn as we go on. So you cannot easily just call it out. But for this, we can call it almost like anywhere in our code, because if I say console log token 2, do you see it? I don't have any issue or any error there, because this is global scope, is available as long as it's not caged up inside an anything like function or if statement and things like that. Then it will be accessible. But remember, as good as it is, it could also cause confusion and issue. You can see at times I try to run it maybe below, it's not responding or things like that. So you need to be careful. Some things, though they are good, but the more robust your project become, the more modular you break things pieces. Let the function handle the variable it needs, instead of just declaring a kind of global scope variable and then manipulating it one after the other, and then there could be issue from there. But there are situations you will always, the best option is for you to, like when you are dealing with smart contracts now, when you say maximum token, that should always be accessible in any way in your code. So things like that. So it's not that you don't use it, but you need to be careful and know when you should use it. The other one you will see is the local scope, which we have seen like in the function, like function scope created when you declare variable within, like var inside the function. Then block scope when you use let or const within a block, like the curly bracket, you can see it in if statement, loop, etc. The variable is block scoped and is accessible only within that block, as you have seen a similar example I just did as well. So the same for block scope. Then accessing let and const outside function. If let or const are used inside the function or block, they cannot be accessed from outside that function or block. This is different from var, which is function is code, but can be accessed outside of a block, like an if statement if declared within the function. So like I told you, that is the essence of being in AI age. This thing is just about understand the basic of the language, and when you want to create a dApp, you can easily relate with your AI, and if it gives you any code you don't understand, copy it back to it and say explain this, and you get understand. But if you don't understand the language, if you don't understand English, I can't be teaching you this code. You understand? So those are the things that we are majorly doing with these courses. Why understand scope is important in Web3. So as we've said, you often deal with sensitive data like wallet address, transaction details, smart contract interaction, Properly scoping your variable ensure data integrity and security. Mismanagement of scope can lead to unexpected behavior, potentially leading to vulnerability in your application. So you need to be careful. Understand scope also aid in writing clean, well structured and maintainable code. So now let's move to what are JavaScript data types. So we've learned about variable. We just quickly want to browse through what are the data type. Like you've seen here, we can have like different things. Let's put this aside. We can have different things here that we can use, which in this case we have like string, we have numbers, we have boolean, we have array, we have object. So the data type means the type of data that your container, that water container, can handle. I told you, like now it can handle this, but it will be difficult. For example, you want to take big stone now and put it won't go in. You have to break it. So then there are some chemicals, they may even look like water, but if you put it in this plastic container, I'm telling you, you just boom, it will burst because it cannot handle it. So that's how we have, how do we know which container is right to use? It's based on the data value it will handle. So if it is a string, if it is number, if it is boolean, if it is array, so you can see it now. Textual data that are used for storing and manipulating text, like Hello World, DP University, and things like that. So when you talk about string, this is an example of string. Text, and it could have number. You see it add number, and it doesn't stop it from working. Let's see. You see, it doesn't stop it from working. So, but what you know is that you cannot do, for example, let's say what we did earlier. Let's quickly do that. When I say let's var1 equals to 3, so you can use this if you want to. Let's var2 equals to 5. You can see the AI picking those things back for me. Then let's let's just say const value, var3 equals to 7. Yeah. So here now I can easily do like a function. You understand? I can say it should give me a function. Let's do function for addition of values. So you can see the AI just doing this for me. Now, function add values. Let's sum. That's what I was saying. Value 1 plus value 2. Console log sum. Now, let's do this. Let's refresh. Then, you see that this is inside the function, and straight we are not seeing this here. So, for example, I can decide to display the value of this sum, you understand, through our website or through console for us to see it there. So I don't want to go and use that. Let's just take this console and bring it out. So we may have it display somewhere here. You see it, that I can't access it because it's outside of the function. So those are the part of the issue. You begin to see that if you don't really understand what is going on, there could be some issue. I think this, let me try this, return the value or the sum. Let's see. Can you see? So don't worry, this might seem advanced. Return sum. Let's now try if it can give us access to it. It's still not divine. But with this now, we can access the value out of this function. So you see, with this same thing, you'll be wondering, how do we now access the value from this function so that it could be like read or things like that. So you can see the sum will now be given out to us. But you see that it's not even working here. So you've seen this, but what about if I decide to declare another one here, variable, and call it let sum equal to val 1 plus 2. Do you see it? That this same console log that wasn't working previously is now giving us the answer. So for me to adjust, you can see the advantage of using the variable. All I need to do now, if I want to change, I want to put it a bit side by side so you see what I'm doing. So if I just decide to change this now to 35 and save, look at what will happen. Do you see it? It becomes 40. So I don't need to go and be doing, take it again, because anywhere this variable is used, it continues to take the value. You understand? It continues to take the value. The same thing, like I said, I can come here and set the value 1 equals to 15. And it worked. And then you see it changed, because here it saw it as 35. You see all the scope and how these things, how you need to understand, so that at times all these little things can frustrate you, like what's happening. You won't know that even though you declare it here as 35, since you have changed it somewhere, these are part of the issue that like global scope variable can give you. Because imagine if there has been like maybe a function before the other function that want to do this, that have changed the value from what you expected, you declared there. You may get into loop of figuring out what was the problem for a long time without being able to. So the more your project gets complex, the more you compact things. So everything will be within their own function, and they won't mess up with any other thing, and maybe only return or things like that that's needed from them. So you can see, and let's try the const. The const one is val 3 equals to 10. You see, assignment to you see that this console for your browser is so helpful when you are dealing with JavaScript, because you are not seeing the error here. That's other side of JavaScript. It doesn't really show you most of the issue that is going on. So that's why you need to be careful, and we still learn some of the solution, which is like TypeScript later. But for now, we focus on this because it doesn't show you a lot of error. You can manipulate it as you want. So then let's go back. We have numbers, we have used number, we have string, we have also used string, and string need to be in a quote. You see it, it will have error. It has to be in a quote, and the quote can either be single or double quote. Anyone you use will work. And also there are some things like the operator that you can't do. So we are already also learning the JavaScript operator along. The JavaScript operator are things you can perform, like arithmetic operator. They help you to do like addition, subtraction, all those things. You have assignment. Assignment operator assigns. So you will see that a lot of these things we're already doing it. Then comparison, you're equal to, greater than. If this thing is 3 equals to 3, do this. If this is less than this, do this. You understand? They also work, just your normal mathematical operator work. Then we have the logical operators. These ones are used for logical expression like if and this, or this. If A equals to 2, if A is 2 is the same as 2, then do this. If A is 2 but not the same as 5, then do this, and things like that. So we still learn a lot of them. Just keep that in mind. And like this one now, this string, you can perform arithmetic with it. Like this operator now, plus sign, you understand what I'm saying? You can't perform it because it's difficult. They are sequence to character and things like that. Does not differentiate between different type of numbers, whether it's integer or decimal. You understand? So, and can represent special number like infinite. So it is classified as number. It handles arithmetic operations and things. Then the Boolean is true or false. So either this thing is true or false. Then you have the array. The array, you are arranging a list. So we just call it a list, like at times you want to have a variable. Instead of having like this now, I want to have like value that will be multiple. So instead of having this value 1, value 2, let's say I want to have value 50, or user can even add it up to 100. I don't want to create such. It doesn't make any sense there. So instead I will use an array. You understand? So let's define an array. I'm always giving you how you can integrate AI. These things, you don't need to learn all these things. And gone are those days you need to go and Google if you forget anything or anything. No, just type if you have all this AI to like create a value for as array sample. Do you see it now? So you can see value 4, old 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can iterate around them. I can use each of them differently. You understand things like that. So we'll still learn more about that later, but at least it's good you have the basic idea now. So for example, before I round this section up, any other thing to discuss? So we talk about string concatenation. That means you can create a long string. For example, we can say, look at this now. I want to write DPU, then utility. I can say DPU is a utility token. Then I can say token name plus is a token. So for example, let's come here. You see we have this. Then we also use literal, another way of doing it. So for example, now I can say let the value be this. Then token 2. We have this console dot log, not some, but let's just do token 2, and let's bring this back up. Sorry, we didn't clear the, where is the const? We should comment this out because it's causing error. So you see it now. So it can give you an idea. See, it shows me there's an error, and once I fix it, other things begin to work. Now DPU token 2, depending on I've console log it twice. Yeah. Okay. Let's just leave it here. Now, from here now, I can do something. DPU token 2 instead of saying token, I can save this. Sorry. Token is not divine. Yeah, sorry. It's token 2. Yeah. So the value becomes DPU token. Let's delete this so we don't keep having the confusing ourselves. So we have DPU token. Then here now I can concatenate it. You understand what I'm saying? That it will now be DPU token 2 plus var1. Let's see. Do you see it? DPU token 15. It goes here to take the value of var1 and then add it. So it's like creating a sentence. So for example, if I want to say, let's see, total, for that I will need to put it, sorry, like this. Total token, to concatenate means you are adding multiple values or variables together to create like a complete sentence or complete word. Total token equals to, you will see it now, total equals to, or total, let's do total DPU token. Then we can do another plus here and add the equal to in between, then put another plus. So there is another modern way we do it now, like using literal, but let's just do this for now. Total plus token 2 plus equal to, you see, this eventually created what we want. Let's put space here and see. Do you see? Total DPU token equals to 15. Total DPU token. So we can space this as well. Do you see it now? Now, there's difference between what you are saying. Like, why should I stress myself to do this when I can always just write it as a single statement? Total DPU token is this, and the reason is this. Let's try this. So you have total token equals to var1. If you do it, you just do the 2. But now let's see the difference. Total DPU token So remember, your string should always be inside there or not. It won't work. Let's see if there's any error. You can see it. Total DPU token 15. You feel there's no difference. There is. Now, let's say I want to change this. I have to come here to change this one 25. Every time I have to come and change this. Imagine I have it in different cases or for different users. Will I be staying in the app to be changing it for them? So instead of that, I can always come here. Let's remove this so that we have everything cleared. Equals to 35. You understand what I'm saying? Equals to 30. See, immediately it changed to 35. If I change this to 5, you understand? I don't need to go and, so even if I use this value, this multiple places for multiple users and all those things, I won't need to bother because I can always change. I can even change this token value at any point in time to be BTC And look at it now. Total BTC. But here I will always need to come to changing manner. You are beginning to see why variable is so valuable. And you have learned a lot in this lesson. You have learned JavaScript variable, the different types, the data types, like the var, using let, using const. Then when you talk about other ones like the data type, they carry like string, numbers, and some other ones like that, like boolean, array, and then object as well. Object is like you say a human being. A human being come in different form. You can have a name, age, complexion, gender, you understand? So when you want to group that, instead of doing var1 age, var2, you understand, you can create an object where you put name, DPU, type, university, location, mass, you understand, age, 150. You can do things like that. So in just a single variable value, so and is able to hold it, and you can reference it later. So that's are the differences. Then we have the undefined, when you just declare let x be this, and later you can adjust it. But I told you one of the pitfall of JavaScript is that it's not typed. JavaScript is not typed, and later you will understand, because you can change this variable value at any point in time. Now look at this. What about if I decide to take this and change it from what we got here? Let's say this var5. Remember what it's showing here. Let me change it to this. Or let's even leave it as var5. Then I uncomment here. You know, it will be 10 because I've changed it here actually. Oh, sorry. It's not that. var1 equals to 10. So you can see it now, equals to 10 here. But I can just come over here and change this entirely, either there or here, and say this. Imagine it's like an hacker that want to manipulate and break your token, your dApp. You can imagine this doesn't make sense. Total BTC token equals to BTC token. Why? Those are part of the downside of JavaScript, because it gives you the freedom to do whatever. So you can start, declare a variable initially as number, and end up having it as what? As string or any other variable data type that you want to use. You understand what I'm saying now? Huh? So when you say console log, I'm coming, I think there is a place we did var plus, yeah, let sum, and you do console log, yeah, I'm coming, let sum equals to this. Let's console log it, you will see what I'm saying. Console log dot log sum. So I just want to make sure you, and don't forget, when you get stuck in any of this lesson, you always have the comment under here to go and ask for support, as you can see it, and always ask specific lesson question to this lesson only, not other things, or you are working on outside project entirely. I won't give time to that. That's why I take time to learn and put what you have learned. If you want to get on that, you can discuss that in the Discord for other community Web3 developers to support. But don't take like project and expect me to spend hours working out on them. Yeah, please. I got a lot of students with such requests, and I'm not having the time again to be doing that. So that's why you should know what you should ask if you want to really get support. So as I round that up, let's try what I'm trying to do here. So we have this console log sum. Is it showing up? Console log sum var error token 1, no. Let sum equals to, I'm coming. Let's do this to know if it's even showing. Sum equal to plus sum. Yeah. Do we have it? Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying now? Sum equal to sum. So it's actually here. It's because, so it has spoiled this calculation. You understand? Because we used it earlier. So you can imagine some function rely on this, that okay, this value you've declared here is 5, is number, it should always hold number. And then suddenly somebody puts string. In fact, we can even put 5. Do you see it? We saw it very clearly now. You will see that it's doing what? It's like concatenating it together. You understand? 5 plus 5. And it's not doing any arithmetic for us. Because it's like it's seeing us trying to concatenate. Not that we are trying to actually do a mathematical something there. You understand? So those are a lot of time. You see, all these things, a lot of error that can slip in, nothing to checkmate us, nothing to give us an error that you might be doing this wrong. So that's why you need to be careful with JavaScript, especially as beginner, when you are doing some things. And that's why TypeScript later on will help us fix some things, so that you don't jump and you don't mistakenly. You see, this is still 5, but it's what do we call it? It is string. So when it sees this operator plus, it says you should join them together. And maybe because we are using 5 here, let's say I change this to 6, you will see it more. It becomes 6 and 5. You see? So it's literally changing whatever I add here to it, because this is a string. You can't do operator with it. So I hope you get it now. So it's totally different. Once I remove this, it turns to number. Number doesn't have any quotes. And this becomes what? 605. Instead of 6,005 or 6. You understand? It's not doing any math there. It's just adding it. And if I return this to 5, or let's say 3, you see it turns back to be 8, because the arithmetic is working. And every other aspect also is working. Where we have this, they are working fine. You understand? So that's why you need to be careful and make sure, and good, we have the AI age now. So always try to ensure you can copy like this, for example, and say, okay, is this correct? Or things with your AI, like Copilot now, and ask it question like, fix this, and it will tell you it's correct, and things like that. So I've taken my time, because I'm always conscious beginners are taking these courses, these lessons. So it's so important for me to spend enough time to make sure you get the basic, because these are basic of your long-term journey of becoming a pro Web3 developer and a full stack Web3 developer. So you can handle both the front end, the middleware, and the back end, which is the smart contract that comprise a decentralized application or decentralized website. So it's very important you should have core understanding of this, and then the AI tools will help you to do any other thing. So those are the things. Understand string concatenation, we've done it. And then in our practical example, we also try to update total mint, and then like you always know, you can always copy if there's anything different. We've done a lot of things different with this, so you can copy it to ensure you are on the same page. Let's copy this and paste to update total mint, and you can see we make use of some operator called plus equals to. This means like add 1 to the amount. So we can also do minus. This you are seeing is the same thing as you are saying token total minted token equals to plus 1. You don't understand? So plus 1 plus 5 plus whatever. So since it's just adding this, then it's the same as when you do this. And when it's minus, it's the same as doing this. So it's just like a shorthand. So when you see this, don't get confused. Let's see what this does. Save this and ensure, let's see if there's any HTML. And you see it. What we are trying to do here is declare variable total minted token. We do it as 0. Don't forget, we are back. I just used the previous one as example, but now we are back to our actual token. You know, here we don't have anything like amount we are minting. We don't know what's going on. We don't know anything. So now we want to make sure, you see, we want to make sure we know what is going on. When we mint, we want to know how many we have mint. Have we minted up to the maximum? Can we mint again and things like that? So that's what this is about. And if you check, let's see, that's what I used to put after. You can scroll down and copy the HTML as well in case we have mixed up anything while trying to do example. So I can copy it here and then go back here for the HTML, replace it and save. Then let's load this up and see what we've got. The HTML. So you can see it now. Cool. We are now able to, I think it's time we need to swap back. Yeah, swap it back. So we are now have total minting token set to like 0. Then this is it. Home, remember this is already there before, so doing HTML and CSS, you should know that. If not, go back to the lesson and check. So we've added just this to display our total minted. So now we are beginning to make this functional. Like it's no more just HTML, it's now interactive. When we mint, we want to know how much have we minted so far. And maybe later we are able to say, okay, or let's see, we want to have a maximum amount that we can mint. You get the point now? So here now you can see we have events that is saying, okay, when this happen, we learned it in the previous lesson, when this happen, trigger this. So it's listing that when we have the wallet address, if there's a value, if there's a token, which is dot the value of the token inside the form, then you should update this minted token, update this with whatever amount you mint. You understand, which is the token amount. You assign it and you are beginning to see the assigned value. Whenever you use this in JavaScript, you are assigning. So all this gives you a practical use of a lot of things we learned here. And in the next lesson, we will add validation to check correctness of the wallet address token and token amount. It's important to validate sometimes to even sanitize user input for security. So because some people can go through it, input script that will run on your site and just, compromise it. You don't want that. So, and remember, under the HTML, we install this to do. So if you are working with other people developer, or you yourself, you can use the to do to indicate what you plan to work on later on, or any other developer that is working on this code. So that's what essentially this code is trying to do. Instead of not working before, we can. So let's try it out. Minting non-token to the wallet. You see it. So, and then if we try to mint, it's not working, it's 0 token, but this is not changing. If we try to mint 4, it's same minting 4 token, but this is not changing because not available. All these things are bugs we need to fix with the validation so that this doesn't happen. Somebody doesn't mint empty and then they try to mint again, it's not showing. Then how should, if we reload, let's say we try to mint is 0, it will also mint. You see, mint is 0 token, then I can come back again and mint 10, and then it will mint. You see, and then I can mint 1 million or 1 billion. Then just keep minting, as in just keep minting, 2 billion, 2 something. You don't want to do that. Then where is it minting to? Into the air. So we need to be able to know which wallet is it minting to. You get things like that. So that's how we begin to add this value and make use of all these things. We've learned a lot. So just pause the video, rewind, see a lot of these things in use. What about if I change this thing to const? Let's see what will happen. And then I come back here, I want to change it. You see, assign to const, and that's why the console, once you are working with JavaScript, always remember to have your console side by side. It can also be placed below, depending on your choice. So if you come here, I can place it below, you see. So I have whatever I'm working on showing below here instead of beside. You get it now. So it's your choice, you can have it. But you can see assignment to constant. So it's telling me assigning to constant is an issue. So I shouldn't assign to a constant. So all those things is what you should always check. You see there's an error there. So because there's a function an update that is trying to update, you see, updated mint token. So we want to update it with this form, and that is not possible with a const. So that's why we have to turn it back to let. And once we do that, the error will disappear, and then you see we can start minting back. So we've learned a lot, and I've taken my time to explain whatever. If you get stuck, remember you have the AI to ask any of those code. That's why I always have them for you to copy. That at the end of the day, when you've tried and mess up things, you always have the correct code of what I use to copy back again and make use of them. So you have them there, then you can have the comment as well to ask questions relating to this specific something. So that's it. I will see you in the next lesson. I remain Solomon Foske of the Programming University. Keep the programming spirit and please always do good to humanity and nature with your programming skill and not evil, to make the world and universe a better place for us all. See you in the next lesson. Bye.